Hey, Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, the World Wide Web. My name's Kendall Hines, and today is a very special day because I've got my friend Zack Kitzmiller with Kitzmiller Designs, and it's the first episode of Lawn About Live standing up. Got this cool variable height desk. We've cranked it all the way up because I'm tired of sitting down. COVID's done, the masks are off, and Kendall is now doing Lawn About Live standing up. Here we go. Hey, welcome back. It's Kendall with LawnBot here, and today I'm joined with my very special guest, Zack Kitzmiller. Zack, thanks for being in the house. How you doing today?
Yeah, man. No, thanks for having me. I'm doing really good.
Well, thanks for coming on the show today.
Yeah.
It's funny. We have a little bit of background in history that kind of our paths crossed via technology on Facebook. And I thought what you do would be really cool to bring to the community because I find it really fascinating and interesting. But also, it's in the green industry, but in a different kind of part of the green industry of where you're operating in the design and build space.
For sure.
So Zack, tell me a little bit about what you do and what Kitzmiller Design Solutions is all about.
Yeah, man. No, that sounds good. So, we started probably, I guess, 18 months ago, year and a half ago, almost 2 years ago. And I started the business, Kitzmiller Design Solutions, really as a resource for contractors, landscape contractors who really struggled with the design and planning phase of their operation, right? So a lot of contractors, they do really great work in the field. They've got their production dialed in. But when it comes to, the outdoor living side of things, the design, the sales, all of that stuff, there's definitely a pain point there and some struggles that contractors go through. And I witnessed that as an employee for years. And, I built a lot of, systems and processes and kind of, worked in that side of the business. And so I thought, you know what, I'm going to start a business and we're going to reach out to contractors and give them the ability to, be that outdoor living specialist in their area by utilizing our skills and services without them having to hire a bunch of in-house employees and computers and software and all that. So that's kind of the idea behind the business. And, we started off just real slow, working with a couple of local companies to where we're at here in Northeast Ohio. And it just kind of took off. I mean, we started just scaling month after month after month. And it seems to be a space that is really needed, or a solution, I should say, that's really needed in the area or in the industry. And it's been great, man. We've really been able to help a lot of contractors, and I think it's something that we're growing and learning as we go, kind of, and it's kind of evolving day by day and month by month. But at the same time, it's been really rewarding, and I think that we're just getting started.
Totally. So where was that first spark of idea? Right, because I remember when you had messaged me or we were messaging, you were mentioning, hey, I'm kind of doing this thing now, but I'd really love to get into the software side. Like that's just I enjoy doing. So where was that big spark of an idea that one day, you know what, I'm going to be done doing what I'm doing now and go on to the next thing and start this startup?
Yeah. Oh, that's a great question, man. And to be honest with you, like, I wanted to be an entrepreneur for years. And when I started in the landscaping or design build industry, I didn't know anything. I couldn't tell you what a hydrangea was, right? And I started learning landscape design and plants and plant material, and then I picked up some software and learned that. And over years and years of just practice and managing projects and hiring guys and ordering materials and learning about all the different products, I just really taught myself, right? But there came a point where I wanted to be an entrepreneur, and I looked at all the different companies that I had worked for that I knew of in the industry, and they all had one thing in common. They, most of them started with, one or two guys, a pickup truck, some lawnmowers, a trailer, and that was kind of how they started.
Yeah.
And this like really depressed me because for years I wanted to start my own business, but I didn't want to mow yards. I didn't want to buy a truck that I was going to, beat up and mowers and have, 50 grand worth of equipment I'm driving around, to make $30, mowing a yard. And, so I thought, man, I just felt like I couldn't get into my own business, um, because of that, because I just wasn't interested in that side of it. And so I thought, what do I like to do? And the answer to that question was I love to design. I love to do sales. I love to, at the time I was, writing bids and proposals, and I really like to do that too. And I thought, why can't I build a business, in the same manner that somebody would start by mowing yards and move to hardscaping, right? Why couldn't I start a business that, started with, doing landscape plans and build it from there? And so that was when kind of the light bulb went off. And I thought, you know what? I do have some skills and it is valuable. And it just took a little bit of time to figure out, how do I, transform that value that I provided to employers, for those years. How do I transform that into something that I can sell to a contractor? And that's really where it all started.
Yeah. So how do they like subscribe? Is it a
Yeah.
subscription? Is it like kind of on a per
Yeah.
job basis? I mean, I
Yeah.
know we were kind of chopping it up before the
Yeah.
episode. We were talking about
Yep.
we got charged per design.
Yeah.
But how do you guys price for your services, and what's all involved in that?
Yeah, no, that's another great question. And that's something too that I've really, just being in sales almost my whole life, it's been part of my business that, ironically I've struggled a lot with. But when we first started out, the whole idea was we wanted to provide a solution to contractors that wasn't also going to be really expensive, right? And so we started off with like you mentioned, you pay $500 for a design, and that worked well for the beginning. In fact, that's how the first 6 months of our business, that's how we operated. We basically flat rated all of our pricing. The challenge with it is we honestly grew so quickly into, so many more complex design situations where the flat rate pricing just didn't work anymore. And so, we moved to something that's more hourly, but we also turned the service into sort of a program where contractors can actually get more resources than just design fulfillment. And that's what's really in a work in progress right now. So it's really about, selling the design service and being a resource to the contractor at a price point that makes sense, but also at a price point that makes sense for them, but also makes sense for us to be able to do the more complex things that we need to do for these contractors, right? They're not just looking for somebody to make a cartoony design and a $400 software application and hope that sells the job. These guys are looking for construction plans. They're looking for takeoffs. They're looking for estimating support. They're looking for functional and creative design. They're looking for so many different things. And so we had to change our model a little bit from that cookie cutter, $500 design to, a solution that worked in continuation, right? As these contractors went about their season. And so now the way that it works is we have what we call our preferred contractor program. And basically it's, we can't work for every contractor in the country. And we only have so much work that we can do in a week's time. And so what we do is we say, look, we want to work with the contractors who really value the design process and really want to level up on that side of their business. And so they join the program. It's a monthly subscription. It kind of gets you access to us as your design team. We're available, throughout the weeks and months to work on projects, kind of one after another. So you're not waiting months or weeks to get stuff back. And so there's some other benefits to that program too, but we're still kicking around how that works exactly and what you get for how much money. And so it's a little bit of a work in progress, but it's definitely designed to save a contractor, hundreds of thousands of dollars in some cases where, instead of hiring those in-house people and benefits and people quitting and software and stuff like that, we're eliminating all that for them. So
that's so cool. Like I'm just like looking at some of these pictures on the screen right now.
Yeah.
I'm like blown away. Number one, by how lifelike they look.
Yeah.
And
Thank
two,
you.
like if I'm a homeowner,
Yeah.
I would be like, wow, this must have cost like $20,000. To like get
Yeah.
this type of auto, and that's my house. Oh my god, how did they do that?
Yeah,
Uh,
for sure.
Crazy, just absolutely crazy, but
Yeah.
crazy
And that,
good, crazy
and
good.
that's another, yeah, and that's another, added benefit too. I think, if you're in the industry, hardscapers, landscapers, there's a plethora of designers and contractors who do design, and I think it's great. I think it's awesome that everybody kind of has their own take on that. But what we also try to do is equip contractors with the highest quality of design deliverables. And what that does is it really sets them apart in their space, because when they go to a homeowner and they're competing for business, for another contractor, and they show them something like this, the chances are a little bit better that the contractor, or I'm sorry, the homeowner, looks at this and says, "Man, this is incredible. You guys really know what you're doing." And hopefully, that translates, and that helps them win more sales and better projects.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, I would feel way more confident going into a meeting
Yeah,
with a client, dropping down $100,000
yeah,
landscape proposal,
yeah,
uh, with the best ammunition in my pocket. So
for
this is,
sure.
I mean, what you're doing is pretty cool. So why? I know we talked a little bit about it before we hopped on.
Yeah,
Obviously, what we're looking at here looks like a video game. It looks like
yeah,
very obviously it's using AutoCAD you mentioned, and
yeah,
a product called SketchUp to do all
yep.
this. What benefits do you think this type of computer animated stuff has over the traditional hand drawn drawing? I know the old school drawings have been around forever.
Yeah,
Is where it all started, but
yeah,
what benefits do we have with this type of technology over the
yeah.
hand drawn blueprints?
Yeah, yeah. No, and that's another good question too. To be honest with you, before I answer that, I want to say one thing real quick, and I think this is something that a lot of contractors will kind of relate to. And the idea of having these really high end renders, and these pretty pictures, so to speak, is awesome, and the technology is great. What we focus on at our firm is really the design ability, right? And so the idea is you could sketch something out on paper. There's a lot of great landscape architects and designers that still do hand drawn render or hand drawn plans. And to be honest with you, like, whether it's a hand drawn plan or something in UVision or real time or something like this, the design is what should always stand out. And I think anybody can go and get some of these programs and kind of fumble through them. But what we've tried to focus on is, yes, we want it to look really good, but we also want the design to be functional and creative and make sense, and for it to be actually possible to build. That being said, when you do have the design skills, and you're really thinking through the design process, and you've got that dialed in, then you're pouring on the gravy when you were able to use AutoCAD and use SketchUp, and really make what you have in your head or on paper come to life. At that point, then you're using it as a communication tool, and that's when the dream making happens, so to speak.
Yeah, absolutely. So how does that process look? I mean,
Yeah,
when a new contractor, or when a contractor comes to you and says, "Hey, I got this bid for a
yeah,
landscape job," what are they coming to you with?
yeah,
Is it some like pictures, Pinterest
yeah,
images from the homeowner? What do you got? How do you guys take all that and then end up,
yeah,
here,
yeah,
uh,
yeah, for sure.
with the
So
end, design?
yeah, and so that's where the collaboration between us and the contractor comes in. So we work with some clients who, they are awesome at building. They don't really have a lot of creativity that they can bring efficiently to the table, right? They could be creative, but the time that it would take them to really go through it wouldn't be worth it to them. So sometimes we start from scratch when we just look at some photos of a property, grab a couple measurements, stuff like that, and we've got to really come up with the layout and the function and creative sides of the design. Other clients, they're like you mentioned, they've been doing this for years. They've always done it on paper, and they kind of know what they want. And so our job is to kind of take their idea, enhance it here and there, make a few adjustments, format it in a way that looks really nice. So it's kind of a range, but yeah, just like you mentioned, I mean, we do work with a lot of clients remotely, which brings up a whole lot of challenges. That's probably a whole nother web show or podcast in itself. But
Yeah,
but
totally.
yeah, for sure. But yes, I mean, we're basically going to look at a site plan, home plans if it's a new build, We've got a lot of tricks, up our sleeve as far as how to get some information about topography and things like that. But we kind of roll with what we're provided with, and we kind of do the best we can with that. And so, like I said, it's a collaboration between us and the homeowner, or I'm sorry, the contractor. And we've got some tools that kind of make it a little bit easier. Digital forms and Dropbox, for business and stuff like that, really make it easy to transfer information back and forth. But it's still a little bit of a challenge because it's still a little bit of legwork on the side of the contractor, and they're busy, and they're working with us to save time too. So it's kind of a collaboration and whatnot. But it's amazing what we can come up with, across the country for some of our clients.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, I mean, what's your vision for the company? I mean,
Yeah.
you mentioned wanting to be an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Obviously, you're living your vision, your
Yeah.
dream, right? As we speak. I see you doing big things. I mean, it looks like you're always doing something from an activity standpoint. I think I even
Yeah.
commented one day, I was like, dude, I love the frequency and the volume at which you're posting.
Yeah.
Like over. So, what's your vision for the company? Is it to be
Yeah.
this kind of tech platform for all of the landscape industry to get designs done, in a modern way, or what's the big vision for you?
Yeah, no, I mean, I guess you could say that. Yeah, our mission is to help contractors win with sales and design, right? So, we want contractors to be able to become, we want them to transform from being the contractor who does, a 10 by 10 patio or 20 by 20 patio, and a bunch of retaining walls, to being the contractor who is an outdoor living specialist. So, doing remote design and doing, being a design firm in the way that we are, it is somewhat new. I mean, it's a few years ago, there probably weren't many companies or individuals doing what we're doing. It's starting to become more popular, especially on the consumer side of things. But where I see us going is, I just want to be that trusted partner for contractors, right? We can't work for everybody, and we definitely have a target client, but for those contractors who really want to get into the design build space and become, designers who build over builders who design, we want to be their resource. And I think that we can do that. I think we can build it. All of our employees are all trained in the contracting side of things. They've all either had jobs installing or designing or in sales or project management on the contracting side of the business, in the landscape world. So, we're not a bunch of designers that, went to college, nothing against that, but went to college and, never installed a paver or never, was on a job site or anything like that. And so, we really relate with our clients that way. So we just want to keep doing that, man. And we want to build our program up and, get as many guys and gals in there that are really looking to level up their business, and for this to be an easy buy, right? We want, like you said, like with software and technology. I mean, we're leveraging so much technology with the way things are today to be able to do this. And so, we're looking for that contractor who wants to leverage technology and wants to kind of get to the next level without doing it the old school way, so to speak, if that makes sense.
So why wouldn't some? What are some?
Yeah.
I'm sure you, what are some objections of a service that you
Yeah.
offer? I mean, is it old
Yeah.
school guys that say, "Oh, I'll never use. I don't need fancy drawings or
Yeah.
whatever." Like,
Yeah.
why? To me, it's a no-brainer. But why wouldn't
Yeah.
somebody? What objections do you get?
Yeah. So the biggest thing for us is, it's sort of a new thing. And I think the hardest part for me is to really sell the value and really educate, you know, the prospects and contractors that we come into contact with about the value that we bring. And it's almost just like selling a patio or deck or something to a homeowner, right? You can, homeowners think it's going to cost $5,000 to build a backyard oasis, and then they find out it's, $85,000. Right. And you've got to sell them on that. You've got to say, hey, look, and go into all that. It's kind of the same for us. When we talk to contractors, it's a tough pill to swallow when they hear the cost. Our clients spend anywhere from, I would say, 10 to 40K a year with us on continual, working together on a continual basis. And they hear that and they kind of go, wow, or they hear the monthly, commitment or the hourly rates or whatever, and they kind of take a step back. But, I think it's about us really setting the expectations and educating them on, look, when we spend $20,000 a year in subscription services and software, and when a new computer costs $4,000 because it's got to be able to run the software, or the expenses that we have to be able to do this, it starts to make a little bit more sense. And that's one of the reasons too why we have the deliverables at the level we do. We're not sitting here putting out bad work and taking shortcuts. We're doing really high end stuff, I think. So the price is going to be there right along with it. So it's really just a matter of making the investment to say, look, I could spend $25K and get the same results as if I hired 2 or 3 designers in house and spent years developing that team and those processes. We've already done the work for you. I've done it for years as an employee. I've done it, with this business now. I've built a team of, that we have now, and that team can be yours. Right. And so for, 10, 20, 30 grand a year, for you to be able to, I mean, I've got clients who've sold $600,000, $700,000, $800,000 in work already this year off of, design work that we've done, in collaboration with them, that they otherwise probably wouldn't have had the time or resources to do on their own. And so it's seeing that big picture and saying, look, yeah, I might spend, a few $1,000s a month, or I might spend, a decent amount of money here, but this is going to take my business to the next level, and it's going to do it this year, not 10 years, in the making, if that makes sense.
Yeah. It's almost, for at LawnBot, we say it's like having the power of Amazon, like the
Yeah.
power of
There
software,
you go. Yeah.
level of professionalism that
Yeah.
consumers are used to. I mean, they're on
Yeah.
beautiful device that just feels
Yeah.
beautiful in your hand.
Yeah.
And like, I believe it's my religion, it's that
Yeah.
the consumer expects that, and they're going to continue to
Yep.
expect that. So
Yeah.
they're not, we were talking a little like, what are some contractors doing now instead of
Yeah.
getting a hand drawing done or an
Yeah.
AutoCAD drawing done like this?
Yeah.
You're like, well, they're like sketching stuff in their truck, and they're trying to sell
Right.
20, 30
Right.
plus
Yeah.
jobs off of
Yeah.
a hand sketch or just verbal.
Well, and what a lot of them are doing, especially some of the, I'm 31. If you look at guys who are, 20 years in the business, they're maybe 40, that kind of age range or demographic. A lot of them, they walk away from outdoor living projects. Oh, they need a kitchen. I'm not going to do that. Or oh, they want a pool. I'm not going to do that. Or oh, they need a design. I can't really do a good design. I'm not going to be able to compete with so and so across town who does awesome design work. So I'm going to go get the retaining wall job for, along somebody's driveway or something. You know what I mean? And so, and I'm not singling out those guys. I mean, it happens to everybody, but I think that, a lot of these guys, they just shy away from becoming that outdoor living authority, right, in their space, because they just don't have the tools and resources and time and all the things that they need to be able to get their business there. And that's where we want to help. We want to come in and say, look, you keep doing the builds that you do. You've got the skills, you've got the equipment, do what you do best. And we're going to help you with the design phase and help you sell that to homeowners. A lot of guys, they don't know how to, charge a homeowner for a design, right? They think that nobody's willing to pay for designs, and it's like pulling teeth. But that's something that we can actually help contractors with, because if you can't get the homeowner on board with what you believe that you can do for their backyard, no wonder they're not going to pay $500 or $2,000 or whatever for a design. But with the tools that we provide and the kind of the coaching and stuff that we provide, we put them in position to be able to go to the homeowner and say, look, here's what we can do. We're the authority in our space. We are outdoor living specialists. This phase of the process is so important. And when you believe it, they'll believe it, and they'll happily write you a check for that. I've got clients that used to do free designs that are getting $2,500 every time now to do a design. So
Totally.
a lot of value there too that we can help with.
And I think, it's that old adage, like nothing worth it's free. Like I'm
Right.
I'm a little bit skeptical if it's a free thing, especially
Right.
with
Yeah.
something
Yeah.
that's so permanent, like a
Yeah.
landscape. Like it's not.
Yeah.
I was telling you about our 800 square foot patio.
Yeah.
Triple R Lawn and Landscape did a great
Yeah.
job. Located here in Grand Rapids, Michigan, they crushed
Yeah.
it. Those bricks are freaking. We actually did a little stepper path leading
Yeah.
to the patio, and me and my wife were out there like doing it, and
Yeah.
mad respect.
Yeah.
That stuff is heavy, and
Yeah. It's a lot of work.
when my point is when you're putting in something as permanent as like
Mhm.
uh, landscape, and outdoor kitchen, all that,
Yeah.
you want it to be right. It's worth 2 or 3 grand up front to
Yeah.
guarantee that, hey, number one, there's no mismatch on expectations versus what I'm
Yeah.
going to get. And two,
Exactly.
if we get to the end of the project and you put in brownstones and the design calls for gray, like
Yeah.
that's not what we bought, right? It's very,
Right. For sure.
um,
Yeah.
so that seems to be one of the benefits that I could see from an outside.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So
For sure, man.
tell me about your team. I mean, you mentioned remote team. Uh,
Yes.
is it you and your wife? Tell me about your current team and where they come from
Yeah.
and who they
Yeah.
are.
Yeah, no, that's yeah. So we've definitely transitioned from, when I started, it was me. I was, doing these designs on my own. And as we grew, I quickly realized, there's only so much I'm going to be able to do on my own. And I didn't start my business to, be the same place I am now, 30 years from now, right? So I quickly realized, I'm going to have to build a team, and it kind of fit with our business model, with how we're helping contractors and people with design. So I got my wife involved. She started this year as a project coordinator. So it's her and I managing projects and sort of taking on the brunt of the work. But we've got some awesome team members. We've got one of our designers is in PA. So we've got three of us in Ohio where we are locally, and then we've got two other employees that work remotely, and then two other contractors that help us out remotely as well. So we've got PA, I think Florida, Nebraska, Ohio, and Tennessee. So they're all kind of skilled in their own respect. I mean, we got, not everybody works on every part of the design. It's kind of like an assembly line type of workflow where,
Yeah,
one guy does the 2D stuff, one guy does the 3D stuff. But we all work collaboratively. Like I said, we use a ton of technology. It blows my mind how much money we spend a month on, applications and things that we pay monthly for to keep us all connected and organized. And but they're awesome, man. Our team is really good, and we just launched our core values for the company just
I
this
saw
week.
that.
And
That's
yeah,
awesome.
yeah, yeah. So one of the things that we look for in our employees is, we want to compete at the highest levels, right? We want to go up against anybody in the country, and that's not to say that we are the best by any means, but we want to be able to have that spirit of just saying, hey, we love what we do. We want to be great at it, and we're going to keep getting better, and it's always a work in progress. And I think everybody on our team is 100% committed to that. We love to serve other people, and um, kind of take ownership of what we're doing. I think it is somewhat new. I think that you'll see more companies, kind of start up throughout the country over the coming years that kind of do what we're doing. But I think that we are in a position to really be leaders in the industry, and I think our team is totally on board and ready to take us there. So
That's awesome. It's funny you mentioned that. I actually stumbled across a local company. It's a startup
yeah,
in Grand Rapids. It's a one-person startup
yeah,
that's doing not anywhere near as impressive as yours, um,
yeah.
but they're doing designs for homeowners. That's kind of their
Okay,
go-to-market strategy is doing it right
yeah,
to the homeowner. But I think that's missing a crucial part, and that's the pro.
yeah,
I kept telling my wife, I was like, I'm so happy we had Triple R install this patio.
yeah,
Uh, I would have gave up halfway through. Like people don't realize it might just seem like laying bricks, but me and
yeah,
you both know, and everybody watching this stream, it's a
yeah,
hell of a lot more than just laying a
yeah,
couple
for
bricks. I
sure.
mean,
Yep, a lot.
um,
Yep,
the base, the paver
yeah,
base, you gotta tamp it. You got to make
yep.
sure things are square.
Drainage. Yep,
Well,
all that stuff.
drainage. If you get
Yeah,
over a certain square footage, you're going to have water. You got drainage
yeah,
problems that you're going to have to account for. Do we need to
yeah,
install drains in the patio? Like,
yeah,
where's where's the lighting going? Are we doing
yeah,
natural gas? Like, there's
yep,
just so much that goes into it. So I have mad respect for all of your customers and
yeah, yep. We do
all of
too.
our friends out there that
Yeah.
that provide this service.
Yeah, man. No, it's tough, and these guys work. I mean, they work for years. I mean, these guys, they're spending a lifetime building these businesses. It's not an easy business, man. I mean, it really isn't. But they've spent the time, buying the equipment and finding the labor and staying up to date with products and installation methods and all of that stuff. And and we want to run, you know, right next to them on that journey, right? We stay up to date with it too, and we kind of know how things are installed and how things work, so that we can, you know, create projects that are in their wheelhouse and make sense for them, you know, as a business. So yeah, man, they work so hard, and you know, hopefully, I think we're doing it for the clients that we have now, and we want to keep doing it for even more, where we can take some burden off of, you know, time, resources, stuff like that, off of their shoulders, and help them win in this space.
Yeah, that's awesome. So Zach, that's
Yeah.
awesome. Thanks
Yeah.
for coming to the show
Yeah.
today. Just can wrap it
Absolutely.
up for people that watch this and they're like, they're interested in finding more about your
Yeah.
business. Like maybe they're a little bit nervous to reach out.
Yeah.
How do people get in touch with you?
Yeah, no, they're the best way to get in touch with me. I kind of do all of the sales, so to speak, in the business.
Yeah.
Would be like through Facebook or social media. Like you mentioned, I'm really heavy on social media. I think it's a great tool. I also think, if anyone else is listening, if you are a business owner and you are not posting every day to social media, start doing that now. Literally document everything and post it online. I know it feels really weird. I'm not a flashy guy, but when you do that, you'd be blown away how much business you get. So, you know, you can reach out to me on, you know, Messenger, Instagram. You can also get on our website. I think you can fill out a contact form there. You can message us straight to Facebook off our website. We've got an office. Vicky in our office answers the phone Monday to Friday, 9 to 5. So we can maybe put the number in the chat or something. You can give us a call there too, and we'd love to chat with you.
Yeah, I'll drop your
Yeah,
contact info in the comments below. But
cool.
Zach, thanks for coming on the show
Yeah,
today.
man.
I'm excited to look up in 5
Yeah,
years and see
yeah,
you might have. What's so cool about this? Your whole remote team. I'm sure there's many people like that have those skills that are looking for
yes. Call us. Yes.
like they're really great at designing,
Yep.
but
Yep.
maybe not so good at procuring new
Yeah.
business, going out
Yeah.
there, shaking hands and kissing babies with the people
Yeah.
actually buying the service. So
Yeah.
I'm excited to see what this turns into for you. I'm a big
Yeah,
fan
man.
of
Thank
cheering
you.
you on from Grand Rapids, and
Thank you.
who knows, maybe I'll be able to use your service here soon. But
Hey, man, that'd be awesome.
yeah,
Yeah. Thanks for having me on, man. I appreciate it so
yeah,
much.
absolutely. Well, thanks for coming on. We'll catch up soon,
Okay.
and we'll talk to you later.
All right. Thanks so much, Kendall.
All right, man. See ya. All right, folks. That's that. That's Zack Kitzmiller with Kitzmiller Design Solutions. The best AutoCAD, beautiful drawings for your landscape that you can take and visualize and see what stuff is going to look like. If you're a contractor or homeowner, you got to go check them out. The link is in the description of this episode. Kitzmiller Design Solutions.com. You got to check them out. LawnBot's technology for the lawn and pest industry. This is technology for the design build, the sales, the design part of it. You really got to go check him out. Super cool. I'm glad he came on the show today. We're doing this episode on Thursday because tomorrow's Memorial Day. A lot of folks are taking it off. I've already seen boats headed out of town here in Grand Rapids, so we thought we'd come to you Thursday. And until next week, we have another special guest next week. We're going to be releasing that guest on Tuesday. And we'll see you next week, Friday, for another episode of LawnBot Live. We'll see you then.